gonna get on it, man. So yeah, man, we're here in the building. We're here in the building, man. So let's get into this thing, man. But yeah, that's definitely. I'm gonna take that advice. I'm gonna have to talk to you about that off air as well, because
Oh yes.
the lawn.
And here's another tip for you and the siblings and YouTube, aka BoobTube. It's a wonderful place, man. You get to listen to content like this, some crazy stuff as well. But you can also find gardeners on there giving tips. You can find people giving you tips on plumbing, car repairs, all kind of stuff, man. So utilize the
It's
platform.
true. It's true. It's true. The amount of things I've learned how to do from just from YouTube, it's crazy, you know. The phones and the technology, everything's at our fingertips.
Yes.
There's nothing. You can learn to cook. You can learn to do everything. Matter of fact, I learned how to do editing and everything from YouTube.
You see
from back in the day, I learned how to do it. I mean, some self lessons as well, but YouTube essentially is what taught me how to edit.
Gives you a foundation. It gives you at least a foundation.
All of that YouTube, you can, if you use these devices to learn, the same way how you said that, you just said there, Noble, with the grass, man can learn how to do practically anything.
Exactly.
So that's a lesson within itself.
Power, man. Utilize the things, and man, utilize the technology and the manual, tools that we have at our disposal for your enrichment. Not just to say I'm doing it kind of thing.
Crazy. So let's get into this thing, man. Let's get into this thing. I'm going to, let me get the article up. Is the article you just set in the chat?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's get this up.
Well, let me. While you're getting off, let's lay the foundation as we always do. As everyone is aware, for the past a week and a half or so, there's been news, and when it first broke, I was thinking, what on earth's going on? Like, there was a couple on the run from the police from up north with a baby that wasn't delivered in a hospital. And they're, concerned, obviously, about all three, especially the baby, because it hasn't received any kind of care. So, headline, or part of the timeline, I should say, Constance Marten, the runaway heiress, and her rapist partner, and the aristocratic family rift. Now, in the mainstream, I haven't necessarily heard too much about Constance Marten coming from money, etc. And then also, I didn't even realize that the gentleman was a brother at all.
Crazy.
I thought this was like a white couple or something, I don't know. Then I'm doing the knowledge. I'm thinking, okay, so what would be the reasons? And obviously, them two know, and trustfully, the truth will be revealed through the court proceedings. But I'm thinking, okay, are these guys like well, not anti, they're pro-life, but they're not necessarily down with like the modern way of like childbirth, because there are a lot of people who don't want to go to a hospital and give birth, so they'll have like a midwife and they'll come to the house, or is it doulas they call them or whatever, and they'll do the birth in a birthing pool and all that. So keep it as natural as possible. So I'm thinking, are they going down that route and they don't want to have the vitamin K after by injection for the poor baby and all of that kind of trauma with the vaccination sort of regime? So I'm thinking maybe it's that. And then when I hear about the husband, well, the father of the child, who comes from America and who's on the sex register over there, did time for rape and all kind of stuff, I'm thinking this is, maybe they went on the run kind of thing, or didn't do that because of his potential background. And then they might say, well, hold up, the partner's got all of these charges, etc. So I was up in the air kind of thing, like, well, what's behind them not seeking proper care and then going on the run and them being caught? So M61, they abandoned their vehicle and set it alight on the hard shoulder. We're talking 28th of February. They then, this is like Bolton. This is real far north. I don't know how they got all the hundreds of miles and they find themselves in where is it? Sussex, Essex, is it Essex, Sussex, around that kind of way down south. There's just huge missing timelines. Like, how were they able to? Did they hitchhike with their newborn baby all the way down there? Like, how on earth did they get down there? And then they're searching for them, and they were on the run for a month, a whole month. CCTV images, all kind of stuff. This is the most strangest story I've ever come across, Mark. It's the strangest story. And have you brought up the headline there?
Yeah, got it up.
Because this is the crescendo of the story. Obviously, there's more to come, but I would never expected this.
Break down the headline if you got it in front of you, or you want me to read it?
No, go for it.
Okay. So the headline is "Baby Tragedy. Baby found dead in search for Constance Marten is his name. Constance
Marten
is woman. Constance Marten and Mark Gordon's newborn. Baby found dead in search for Constance Marten and Mark Gordon's newborn may have died several weeks ago, cops reveal. Police have revealed. Sorry, people, I'm trying to get used to this. Putting the article on the screen. So I'm trying to figure out which one to scroll down.
Yeah.
Police have revealed a baby discovered in search for Constance Marten and Mark Gordon's missing newborn had been dead several weeks before they were found. The body was last night found after the couple was discovered by cops in Brighton on Monday, ending their 7 weeks spent on the run. So that's the woman. Right, that man looks rough, boss.
Yes.
Why the woman looks rough as well? We get back into it. The couple was located on a residential street shortly before 9:30 p.m., sparking an urgent hunt for the child. They had been seen walking off the Sussex Downs without the newborn by a member of the public, who then rang 999. Last night, police revealed that they discovered the remains of a baby in a wooded area close to where they were arrested. And today, police gave a heartbreaking update on the found remains. Detective Superintendent Louis Bashford said, "At this stage, we have not yet been able to confirm the baby's gender, and a post-mortem examination has not yet taken place. Despite this, based on the inquiries we've carried out so far, we believe, sadly, the baby had been dead for several weeks. They found several weeks before they were found. This is the baby's remains. It's too early for us to provide a more specific date. Police also revealed a referral has now been made to the Independent Office for Police Conduct as the tragedy unfolded during the missing persons investigation. The couple remain in custody and have been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter and have been arrested on suspicion of child neglect and gross negligence manslaughter." I don't even know what I'm reading, people, forgive me. So that's it. No, we don't even need to go anymore through that. So, why? So it coming like they've delivered the baby on their own, and has something gone wrong, or what do you think the situation exactly is?
It's just, pardon self, there's so many questions. From what they're saying in regards to the baby being, deceased for for a long period, it could indeed be that they shoot. Okay, let's play righteous advocate to a point, because I've heard of women giving birth and they didn't even know they were in labor. They've been on toilets, and then whoa, wait a minute, and then next thing you know, there's a baby coming out. Now it could have been that happens, and they, for whatever reason, didn't call the police, not the police, the ambulance service to get assistance. Maybe they planned to deliver the baby themselves, and there were complications. Umbilical cords, I've heard that quite a lot of times, have been wrapped around the baby's neck and stuff, and they just went into some kind of strange state and said, look, somehow this, the baby will come back and let's just leave. And I can't even get into the mindset, Mark. I really can't. I don't understand how that could be. I thought that the baby was alive, but now it's been found and they're saying it's been dead for some time. It's like, who does that? Like, there's something is clearly wrong with the both of these people.
It looks like when you look at these individuals, you can see something ain't right. You can see something's not right. So I don't know if it's a situation where, I mean, nah, I can't even, like you said, it's hard to even get into these kind of sick individuals' minds, because is it something that's gone wrong? But then if you say if it's something's gone wrong, why would you not call the authorities?
Yeah.
Because I know since COVID, there's been a much higher number of people that are doing the home birth thing.
Mm-hmm.
But even with doing home births, yeah, you still have a member of the NHS, a midwife, some sort of person there.
A registered professional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So, yeah, it's easy to go into labor at any point. I mean, I know that myself, to be honest. That's not nice at all. It can happen at any point. Women know this, but I can't see that this couple were going to doctor's appointments and hospital appointments and getting the baby checked up. Because if there was, it would be planned out, like the hospital planned things out. So they would say, okay, when you go into labor, give us a call. You see what I mean? Because it don't happen. You can be in labor a woman can be in labor for 36 hours.
Exactly.
So it's when it starts to get more vicious is when they say call them. So I feel like the girl was just pregnant and they just thought they could get away with that. I doubt that baby was even registered.
That's a point. Because as you say, if they were in the system, then surely, like, oh, they came for the first 3 visits and maybe the ultrasound, whatever stage that is, and we haven't seen them in 2 months. Let's raise like a red flag here, because we're concerned with this woman who's pregnant, and she hasn't been in to have her latest sort of updates and talks with us, so we can plan what's going on and make sure that the baby's health and her health is all okay. So if that's the case, Mark, then we've got a falling down of the system at that point. If they were indeed attending,
failed them. If it was registered, the system's failed. But I doubt it was registered, because when you're expecting a child, yeah, that you have the 3 months checkup, and then you go back like twice. So there's the 3 months, I believe it's 3, 6, and then you go back, depending on if you're high risk or you're not high risk. But the hospital will tell you what your plan is. So you'll be registered at a hospital.
Yeah.
So let's say you're in Brum. You'd be registered to one of the hospitals in Brum. So that's where you'd go. They'd have like a protocol to where you would go, what you would do.
City, QE, or what that one? What's the other one?
Birmingham Women's Hospital.
Yes.
So this is what I'm trying to say. That's where my daughter was born still. But this is what I'm trying to say. there's no way the system would have known, because, like you said, they would have they failed them, because they would have had to phone the hospital and say, "Yo, we're in labor, something's happening."
Yeah.
Now, the hospital would have either, depending on, again, what hospital it is, because all hospitals move different, they would have said, "Yo, let us know when the pain gets worse," or, "Yo, them people the girl just got pregnant, they've carried it full term, had the, I feel so that I think they've murdered the baby, to be honest."
You reckon
Because
it's
even if
that?
something went wrong at delivery, you don't know. I know my brethren, he delivered his child.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not, these are natural things, because you got to remember, back in the day,
Yes.
we would have been having children, we would have been doing these things ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a natural thing, don't get it twisted. But if something went wrong, surely they would have phoned the hospital and said, "Yo, we've been this has gone wrong, or this has happened."
Yes. Yes.
That's why I'm saying it. To me, it just looks like the couple have killed the baby. That's what it
But
looks like.
trustfully, trustfully, it's not the that case, and it was a case of during childbirth the baby died, and then they neglected to indeed contact the authorities to help, to assist. Like, okay, clearly there's something wrong with the baby. We can't do nothing. Let's get some professionals in to help. In that case, then yeah, manslaughter. But I'm really, even though, as you say, look at the imagery, flipping out. That she looks like there's nothing there. Like, there's nothing there. There's nothing. There's no love there. She's just staring into emptiness. And my guy, he just looks shifty, man. He looks like there's a lot that he's got
Are
going
these
through his
pictures
head.
taken before or after?
You
Is this a
never know.
mugshot?
They look to me, because with the white background, they look like mugshots.
All right. So if it's a mugshot, these people do not look like individuals that have just lost a child.
Nah.
So alarm bells are ringing just off the back of these pictures. And when I look at this man here, how a man carries himself, it's very, very important. You just got to look at his hair. You know what I mean? To allow your hair to present yourself in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can see, if you look on his hoodie there,
Yeah.
crumbs and all that,
Mm.
could be users. I feel like I'm looking at a user. That's what I think I'm looking at here. Then
It's
you
an
got to look
option.
into, yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. Then you got to look at the shaky background as well.
Red flag.
Yeah, man, shaky background, mate. Something's up here. Something's definitely up here.
It's dodgy.
100%.
I want more information than what's being provided. I really do, because it's like, so okay, so like she comes from money and stuff. So is this a rebellion thing? Like, I'm gonna go with the most shadiest person who my family's definitely not gonna, you know, be down with, quote unquote. Because it's challenging, even though people say interracial relationships are like, there's nothing wrong with it and there's no problems with it. Within families, there's, some people be like, well, no, this is not what we, there is friction. So that in itself is a big thing. But then with his background, like, what on earth was she doing? And maybe that's why they're saying there's a rift with the family, because it's like, okay, well, fair enough. You got, a person of quote unquote color that you want to introduce into the family. But wait a minute, this guy is a predator. He's a potential predator. He's been convicted of stuff that you shouldn't be involving yourself with at all.
100%. Definitely like some sort of rebel. Well, if you look, you only have to look at the first picture in the article. So that looks like when she had better times.
Exactly.
That looks like at a point in her life where things were going good. Then if you just go down a bit, just look at the difference. Look at her skin there. Look at her eyes. Look at her hair. Look at her lips. She looks healthy. When you scroll down, look at that. So you go back up, look at the hair, the skin, the lips. Scroll down, look at that. Something's gone on, man. Something's gone on. It's sick people. Sick people.
Yes.
And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Having a child, it's a blessing.
Sure is.
It's not something that should be toyed with or played with. Like, this is why when people were getting onto China, when they had that rule back in the day, them things should have got brought in here a long time, man. Them things should have got brought in here. And I'm not saying in terms of controlling people, but if things was running the right way, and I know people would say it's against human rights, how I would do it. Let's say you leave school, you leave college, meet a partner, like you settle down, you meet a partner. You'd have to go through some sort of evaluation.
Yeah.
So I'd say, you see, when you get your TB in year 10, that would be a coil or something. And that would only come out, not real talk, and that would only come out when you come with your partner and say, yo, we want to have a child, we want to make life. And this system would not change based on your income. This would just be about where your heart is.
Yes.
So you'd have to sit down at an interview and say, yeah, we're ready, because what's happening is so much of these children are not being given a chance.
Mm.
And when they're coming into how the world is today without a chance, they've got zero chance. Because the it's a messed up place right now. It's a messed up place. So if you're bringing children in this world without a view of taking care of them properly,
Yes.
forget about finances, just with love, I don't think you deserve to have children. Keeping it real. You know what some couples would have did, or what would some couples would do to have that baby, what they threw in the bin.
And
This is what I'm trying to say, man. Like, but you're not gonna hear these kind of things on mainstream. Not gonna hear it.
That's hardcore, what you just said. Still, I totally get it. I totally get it. But you know what? I think that solution is still a reaction to the bigger problem. Education, sibling. Education, giving everybody equal opportunity and access to education, to opportunities. Yeah, not the separation, division, and destruction of the family structure. So when we have those things in place, and people understand and know, growing up, okay, I'm 16 now, I'm feeling myself, blah blah blah. I've got all this stuff going in me now, and I'm looking at the opposite sex. We know that there's processes and procedures that need to be followed. Outside of that, we know that there's a 5% who will just be rebels and will just will potentially have children, not following that protocol, will just see someone that they like, and then they catch, as they say. But if we've got that foundation and those protocols, we're still going to have a lot more people who, at that age, at that TB age, they already know that, listen, I'm not having no children yet, man. I'm thinking of my education, where I am in life, who I am as a person. I've got to develop that stuff first before I even thinking about bringing new life into this earth. That's the systematic way to obliterate, as you say, this idea of, yeah, man, let's just have the baby. Then, I can keep that, man. That's my anchor. Because if I get pregnant, then I'm gonna anchor this so-called catch, the man that everyone wants, or in my opinion, is the most sought after. I'm not gonna do the work
We know
to make
work in today's world.
Of course.
We know that, like they say, pitting in our hold, man, again. What I'm saying. Let's just keep it real. That ain't been the case since the 90s. Like, man, are just not like it's great. Like, it's actually sad, to be honest. But I just think there's too much life being brought into this earth with no You know, you being born at a disadvantage just by not even being loved. At this, it's like starting a race from behind.
Yeah.
You're not even starting at the starting point. You're starting 100 yards before the starting point when you haven't even got decent individuals that care for you, because people don't understand, you know. You have a child, life changes, everything now becomes, every decision you make now becomes about them as well.
Yes.
Remember, they depend on you. You can't make no random decision to, you can't make no decision to do something daft, because you know, yo, if this ship sinks, basically, I'll explain it like this. You got a ship and you got people on the ship. If that ship sinks, if you're the pilot of that ship, the captain,
Captain.
sorry, of that ship,
Mm-hmm.
and that ship sinks, yo, you're sinking your children and all that potentially as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're running a proper family, a proper household. So what I'm saying is people don't seem to understand these things. The child is not a plaything. It's not something for social media. A child is something that needs constant nurture,
Yeah.
constant every day. Every day, you need to be there. You need to be. Your life changes. People don't understand that. Trust me, they don't. A lot of people don't.
Value, because we've got probably, pardon self, I would say what, 2 to 3 generations of children that are born and have now produced children who were brought up in a dysfunctional family or household where they didn't receive that kind of love. They didn't. So their norm, which to us is abnormal, like sitting down, sitting down at especially Sundays. Remember the Sunday dinners?
Yeah,
Everybody is at the table 3 o'clock. Standard, like there's no, oh, I got here late. There's none of that. Oh no, because we're not putting in the microwave. The food's gonna be cooked and it's gonna be served at this time. Everyone's gonna chop. Everyone's gonna eat goods, and we're gonna unpack the whole week, you know, and then we're gonna get into what we're doing for the following week, and we're gonna start planning for vacations and going to see family down in Milton Keynes, family up in Bradford or Leeds, Bristol, whatever. They grew up in a household where Sunday dinner was a Chinese takeaway or something.
ain't
Yeah.
even funny. It's not even funny.
You know where I'm going with this, Sylvain. There's like their understanding and their growth has been totally stunted because they after school they're going through school, getting picked up, going to McNasty's, having a meal there, going home, going upstairs on their computer thing, whatever the hell. They're not even interacting. There's no kind of conversation. They're going crazy at school. The mom's then talking to her friends. Yo, my son's going nuts at school. My daughter, she's hoeing around and this. I don't even know what I'm, because you're not talking to them. You're not putting you're not laying the foundation. You just had the child and you thought, well, because I was growing up this way, I can just go to fast food restaurants and feed them that way. I don't need to put no love and tenderness into cooking food for them on a weekday, and making fast food a treat. Fast food is like the staple diet of all youths and adults now. So they're disadvantaged, in so many different ways, emotionally, spiritually, economically, socially. Like they're done, and no one's putting the bug in the ear. And because they're around a circle of people who have all had the same experiences, and they don't step outside of that, but when they do, they can see something, but because it's so alien to them, them mans are crazy, man. Oh, that girl's crazy. She's on some other tip, man. She ain't like us, man. She's bougie. And bougie to them is just being normal, planning for the future and living in the moment. not blowing your whole wages on one pair of shoes or whatever, and then having to go to your mum to borrow and demand money from your poor mum who isn't even working.
There's no accountability, no. But let's really get into it, man. The issues that plague society today are easily fixed, you know. They're easily fixed. Accountability would change the direction of a lot of people's lives if people prepare for the long run. That would change a large percentage of people's lives, the direction of people's lives, if you pre-plan, if you think ahead of time. Now, I'm not saying a man's going to be thinking like that early out, but at some point in life, that switch has to turn on. If it don't, you're going to keep making the same mistakes. Insanity is what? Doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. So what I'm saying is there's too much people making decisions that they know are poor decisions before they make them. When it goes wrong, there's no accountability. Blame everyone else but themselves. Then what happens again? Repeat. Make the same mistake again. It goes wrong. No accountability. And then when there's no accountability and society accepts that there's no accountability, that's how you get a society what we have today. That's how you get a society what we have today. Now, the age I am now, really, from I was like 14, they were saying things like, yo, my man's gonna go to prison with the temper that he's got.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to last long in the real world. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
And I understood from early out, just by going through a few things on my own, yo, I need to be careful how I navigate this life, you know. Certain things, you know, I have to make the correct decisions, but I can look back. And anything that didn't go my way or anything that went wrong, I can look and say, what did I do to make the outcome like that?
Yeah.
What could I have done different that it wouldn't happen like that? Because like you sent to me the other morning, you said something in one of those, you know, those quotes that you send.
Yeah.
And it kind of broke down what I'm saying now. Like what was it? I think you said like there's a lesson in everything that happens. It was something like that. Like there's a teachable moment in everything that happens. So that's what I try and leave bad negative situations with. What could I have done different? And this is what I'm saying, in the society that we're in today, people just do whatever they want to do. Just whatever. Yo, I'm gonna meet this guy who can't show me where he lives. You know, only takes me cinema out of town. I only hear from him at certain times of the day. Cool, do your thing, but you ignore them red flags. So when it goes belly up, it can't be a hey or man. You get what I'm saying? You ignore the red flags. So let's not just make it about relationships. A car, you buy a car off someone who only wants it in cash. You buy a car off someone who can't meet you in a place that's connected to them. You're ignoring the red flags. So when you get ripped off or the car's dodgy, you ignore those red flags. Do you understand? So this is what I'm trying to say. That's the world we're living in today.